Hi, welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's game. Today's game was played on the 10th of January, Thursday, 1991 in Adelaide. It was played at the Adsteam-Lidums International Chess Tournament Open, and I witnessed the endgame because I was there. This game is not about me. This is Grandmaster is Black from Yugoslavia, and White is International Master from Latvia. So here we go. This is a reasonably long game. That's why I got to see it back then in Adelaide. And it struck me, the end game. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go through the moves reasonably quickly till we get to the end game, which just happens to be a rook and a king versus a king and a bishop. But the middle game is very exciting because it's a Spanish. Can I comment? But thank you very much for watching. Thank you for checking in. Maybe I'll put my sunglasses on. So knight h2, knight d4. I've got the score right here. So here is, I'll just show you the tournament brochure. Well, not brochure, but the, what's it called now? Here's the brochure. Here's the brochure. And so this was on I was wondering what I was doing wrong there. I read round 10 thinking it was the 10th of January. I thought, no, because that's the 8th of January, but it's round 11, and it was from 10 a.m. to finish, and the banquet and presentation of prizes was for 7:30 p.m. So there's the Adsteam-Lidums International. Back then, 1990 to 1991. Did I say 1991? Hope I did. But anyway, I correct myself. This is 1990 to 1991. Okay, so we're up to, where do we get up to, David? I'll get back to that page again. But this is really quite cool. And for those that are interested, I got 2 points behind the leading score of 8.5, which was shared with 5 players. They were Miles, Edvins Kengis, Johanssen, and this player here from Yugoslavia. I'm just going to attempt his name. I haven't done any research in calling him. Grandmaster Stefan Djuric. So anyway, so I got 6.5 out of 11, and I wasn't very happy with that, but it's only 2 points behind those great players. Grandmaster Miles being the main one that I am just so impressed with. So anyway, further with this game, I've just got to get my bearings. Thank you. So here is, after knight d4, f4, a5, b4, 92. Now what move would you play now? What's going on here? It's International Master Lunka from Latvia. I mean, I don't pretend to know how to pronounce these names, but this is a uh-oh moment. What I saw one commentator do. He just goes, uh-oh, because it's a bit of a, like it'd be like saying my name, Wigener, but some people can do that quite well, considering they've just heard it or seen it written down. So what's the sort of move you're going to play here on move 17 for black? Is the move d5. Now this is quite amazing. fe5, de4, queen f2, ed3, look at this. Now we have ef6, bishop f6. What else? cd3. I didn't realise how good it was. ba3, bishop h6, and then rook a6. So we're now threatening the bishop on h6 to be a little bit primitive about it. Bishop e3 and ab2. Look at that pawn on b2, isn't it? Look good. Rook b1, ab1, a4. And we have knight f4 and a3. Well, that just looks fantastically fastened down pawns for me. For black, I mean. Pretty amazing, really. Given the way that black and white got to this part of the portion of the game. Rook e5. King h2. Wow. Wow. Here, of course, the threat after rook e5 is clearly white is threatened with rook e5 and bishop d4 check. If white captures the rook on c5 with the queen, obviously only. So rook e5, king h2, and then we have rook a8, d4, rook f5, queen g3, and now rook g5. Looks like the rook doesn't know what it's or where it's going. Queen b3, bishop c6. And here we have the following d5 move, the a la Kasparov move. And now what? What shall we do for the drunken sailor? What shall we do for black now? As here black played queen f5 and rook f1 and bishop a4. Queen a3, a wee bit of a surprise, frankly, and bishop e5. And now a wee bit of a surprise again. That's the thing with this game, is king h1. King h1, and then bishop f4, and now rook b2. Queen e5 getting off the pin of the bishop on f4, and here we've got queen b4. So the bishop takes off because it's attacked twice with bishop e3 and bishop e3 and queen e3 and d6. Now we have move queen g3, which does not threaten David. Queen takes g2 checkmate because rook takes queen. Bishop f7 check, king h8. Okay, so dc7, and now we have just bishop c6, which now threatens queen h3 check. So here's queen d2. I'd actually be kind of happy with either or here, but I probably would prefer black's position, because I know that black does all right. Queen h3 is possible, but look at that, c7 pawn. King g1 and rook g2, queen g2, bishop g2, rook g2. So here we have equal pawns, except for that pawn on the 7th rank, which looks quite strong to the naked eye. Also, after the exchange here, of course, white is threatening rook to h2. Okay, and then it will be a reversal of what happened. So here's queen e3 check, because it was, of course, black's move. Queen e3 check. But what after all this? What's going to happen after king h1? Here, black is forced to give their king a square left. So black plays g5 on move 45. And bishop d5 comes about. Rook c8, which of course black wants to get rid of the c7 pawn. Rook f3, queen e1 check. And then we have, where do we get up to? Queen e1 check, rook g1, queen e5. Here, queen e5, rook h3 check. It's quite interesting. King g7, or is interesting. Bishop f3, and then we have rook c7. Yay, we got rid of that. Rook h5. This threatens, of course, skewer with either rook taking on g5, getting the queen for rook. So move 51 was king f6, rook h6, king f5. And now it's your move real quickly to get to the rook versus bishop endgame. We've got what? We've got rook g5, king g5, rook h5, king f4, rook e5, king e5. So here is where we come to the position that I found very, very interesting. We have king g2 and king f4. Okay, and bishop a8. Now white is actually threatened with just rook to c2 check. Okay, and then king takes bishop, which is final. So bishop a8. Excuse me, please. And we have rook c3 and bishop b7 and rook g3 check. And king f2. Fair enough, it's not wanting to go to the side of the board would not be a good idea. Here's rook b3 and bishop a8. So how is black going to progress here? I would probably play here rook b2, but no, that's not the next move. Here's rook b8, bishop c6. Now, for some reason, rook b2 happens now. I'm not exactly completely, to be honest, sure of the difference. Now here's 62, king f1 and king e3. King g1, rook b6. It's like a courtroom. The black is the prosecution trying to prove their case, whereas white's trying to hold this to a draw. There's no win for white here. So here's rook b6 and 64, bishop a8. And rook b8, bishop c6. So it looks like white is going to get what they want. We've got rook b2 and bishop a8. Rook f2. Bishop b7 and rook f7. Bishop a8 and king e2. Now, we kind of clearly threaten rook g7 check, and then king e1, and then if bishop g2, king e1, and then king h2 or h1, king f2, and it's getting a bit hairy for white there. So here we got king e2, move 69, king g2, and rook g7 check. Now, it's getting primo, isn't it? King h3, now we have king e3. But how does this all come about to be a win by another 11 moves? Is bishop c6 and king f4. And there were some spectators for this game, because it was the last game to be played, I think. King h2. Then we have rook c7. Bishop a8 and rook g7. Looks like repetitive. Bishop c6 and rook g3. I thought the rook went there. Bishop b7, king g4. See, what's happening is the king's asking white to do something about this encroaching king and rook. So here's bishop c8, king f3, see? Now bishop e6 and king f2. So white, if it was their move to move and they haven't got the bishop, then they only have king h3. And we have bishop a2 now. It's not very easy. I'm sure the computer might have a go at winning this, drawing this. Or would it? You know, say we play, for example, bishop h3. Okay. Then that will not do as... Oh no, don't go there, please, computer. That will not do, I think, because it keeps wanting to move without me even touching it. It's like it's got the computer running in the background. So anyway, I'm going to keep to the drawing board. King F2, we have Bishop A2. And then after Rook A3 came Bishop B1, Rook A1, Bishop F5, and Rook A5, Bishop G4 because it's covering the checkmate. And here we just got Rook A6, which is now threatening a dark squared check on H6. Now, I don't think there's any move here for white now. King H3 is out to Rook H6 check, Bishop H5, Rook H5, King G4, and Rook E5 to E8 and that sort of thing, etc. So here white resigned. And if we look at this just like this variation, we can see that that is now a clear win for black. If we just merely move to Bishop F5, then Rook here forces Bishop H3. And now black will win very simply with one move. And what's that? Oh, well, there's other moves too. You know, there's just move the rook, just a waiting move. And here, after King H1, because I was going to play King F3 before, is Rook H3 checkmate. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this endgame technique from this great Grandmaster that ended up, I think he ended up on first equal, didn't he? Yes, he did. That's right. So he got first equal with 8.5 out of 11 shared with those other great Grandmasters or players. All the best with your chess, no matter where it's at. And thank you for watching. I really, 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 really appreciate it. I really do. I really enjoy it, and I really appreciate you've taken the time to have a look at this chess drama. Okay, bye for now.